Alright, today the exhaust has arrived. Now many of you know the factory exhaust on these is down low, but I figured I'd open this up and kind of unbox it with you all. Now I kind of just ripped open the tape off camera, but let's see what this is all about. So we got some stickers, kind of beat up, but whatever. Registration of the product. Oh man, there she is. Seems kind of heavy, honestly. Yeah, there's some weight to this thing, but sits underneath it. Probably get some of these foam pieces in place so we're not putting it on the ground. All right. That's the exhaust though. Looks pretty cool. All right, what else we got in here? Probably our main headers. Lots of bubble wrap. All the springs and hardware. There's all our pipes and our connection pipe. So actually, not a lot. Honestly, expected there to be a lot more in here, but that is all of it. So we'll work on putting this all together here, hopefully in the next few days. Stay tuned. Yeah, a little more organized here, but obviously the exhaust, kind of the header pipes, and all the little hardware needed to put it on there. But honestly, I'm pretty excited to do this project. I think it's going to sound amazing once it's all done. So. Okay, so that's the stock exhaust. It doesn't sound terrible, but man, it can sound a lot better. So I've tried to speed all of this up for you guys so you can see. First and foremost, you want to remove both the left and the right side panels. This is going to give you a little more access. And the reason I've sped a lot of this video up is mainly because you don't need to see me struggle for an hour. I've tried to condense and cut a lot of the crap out, but hopefully this is useful for you. As you see here, by removing both those left and right panels, you have a lot more access. But as we go down low here, you can kind of barely make out these header bolts, and there's 2 per each cylinder, so a total of 6. But first and foremost, that radiator's in the way, so you're going to notice a little arm here from the bottom of the radiator bracket back to the frame, and you're going to have to undo that. Once you get that, the radiator kind of moves out a little bit easier, so I want to make that note because that is going to make your lives a lot better. Moving on, you're going to want to make sure that you remove the bolts actually holding the stock exhaust in place. So there's one on the left side, one on the right side, then obviously those 6 header bolts. Now, when you are going through those header bolts, I want to make the note, if you have one of those leveraging sockets, the ones that kind of twist and turn on themselves, that's going to be really helpful here because some of those internal bolts you can't get a straight ratchet to. So you're going to need to use one of those leveraging ones, and it will make your life in this job here a lot quicker, but make sure you're patient because it does take some time. Okay, now I've opened up all these little plastic bags that it came with. You'll see me right here messing with the header flanges, and I don't know if that's the official term for them, but that's what I've been calling them. These header flanges need to go on in a very specific way because the exhaust does not bolt to the engine. Rather, these flanges bolt to the engine, and then the exhaust is held on by some tension springs, which I'll show you here in a second. But once you get those on, make sure they're kind of torqued down. You don't want to over tighten them, but at the same time, they probably will become loose within a few weeks of running it, so you're going to want to go back and retighten it. But you'll see here what I'm talking about. These 3 flanges go on there. That middle one's actually on backwards. You want to make sure that spring hole is to the left. If you're on the bike, obviously the right side. But these springs simply kind of sit in there. Hopefully you don't get too motion sickness from this video, but I was trying to show you. Just kind of set them on. There's only 3 that hold the exhaust to the engine, and you kind of just set them in their designated positions. Top left, going from left to right. The top left hole, then as in the center flange, it's going to be the bottom right hole. Again, it was on backwards here. And then the top left on the other side. So this is what's going to hold the exhaust in place, but you're going to need the provided spring tensioner to actually get a grip of them and pull them down, which I'll show you here. But first, I fought with this for a little while. Hopefully it's helpful for you guys. This is how it should look though. It takes a second, but once you've kind of seen this, it might make your life a little bit easier. Once you've gotten those pipes in place and kind of put together, you're going to want to put those springs on. And again, you can kind of see me using the tensioner here. I do struggle a little bit with some of them. But again, if you get enough force behind it, you're going to be able to get it on there. So just, again, be patient with the process. You will get it done. It just might take a little bit longer and a little more strength than what's expected. Like everything else with this project, take your time here. This part is very important because you are going to want to make sure that those headers are aligned perfectly with the exhaust holes on the engine itself. Once you've put that in place, it should hold itself up. Fortunately, it does have kind of a, I guess, an angled leverage to it. But while that's sitting there, you can kind of use those tension springs to pull it down and in place. Now, it does take a lot of leverage and some time and some patience and a little bit of swearing to get this done right, but I do move left to right. You'll notice the center one was actually the most difficult here just because the angle and kind of how you have to work it. But once you've done so and kind of understand how it's going, it should be pretty smooth for you. At this point, you can finally fit the Leo Vince canister to the manifold that you put on, but you'll notice here all the red tape. It is really there just to protect both the part and the bike itself. So you'll see it on the rear swing arm, the top of the exhaust piece, and the canister itself too, really just to protect it from any scratches as you're going through it. And right now I'm adjusting the actual header piece that we bolted on or sprung on, mainly because if that is on an angle, the canister will not slide onto it. So make that note and make sure that it is aligned, because once it is straight, it slides on pretty easily. Now, what I don't show you on camera too is I do take this off one more time because I forgot to put the bolt and the spacer that holds the exhaust to the bike on first. And you'll kind of see it briefly of me struggling trying to put that spacer on, and it just took too long before I realized, yeah, you know what, it's going to be impossible to slide it on there first. However, once you've done all of that, the last final piece is tightening the spring that holds the manifold to the canister itself. Once you've done that, you're pretty much set to start tightening all the bolts. The exhaust is on. I'll pick you up here, kind of show you through that. Like I said, I'll pull the tape off camera, but sits really well. Make sure everything's straight. In this case, obviously, it looks straight. The last piece of the puzzle is the O2 bung. And you'll notice here, if you just try to plug it right in or screw it right in, it won't reach because there's a zip tie. So I'll cut that and then show you a quick trick. Okay, if you go to screw in that O2 bung, what you're going to notice is all the wires are going to twist really quickly. So to counteract that, spin it the complete opposite direction very tightly. So when you go to screw it in, it's actually moving and untwisting itself. Last, zip tie it to this tube. Okay, we'll start this up in a second, but last is reassembly and a little bit of cleanup, which I'll do off camera. But remember, left and right panels go on. You'll just want to kind of snap them into place, and then the 3 clips that hold it in and the size 5 Allen head bolt that goes at the top. Once you've done that, we can start it up.